Greetings and salutations, one and all. Welcome to the end of another night shift week. The night where we do a thing we call Real Talk. It's also known as Marlon's favorite night shift show. How you doing, each and everyone? Welcome to the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew, right here on TuneIn Radio. The night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Big ups to you who are listening from TuneIn. Those who are locked in on PEMG TV and any other affiliate stations across the globe, big ups to you. So glad to have you. Those who are locked in on the home of the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew, kevinstew.com. Glad to have you. Couldn't do it without you. Have my word. I wouldn't even try.
Look back now.
Kicking it off tonight with a little Leon called Dero. Haven't played this one in a while. It's called Act Normal.
Only she just calling me. Say she have a piece of waste that could blow me away. Through the arrows, through the corn. Anyway, she is a dance, but go and perform. Yeah. But look, the girl there, and she don't like it when I staring on and on. She know I want less, and I go chance it, but afraid I get caught out. I want to take a wine on your bummy, girl, right there. I see me, girl, right there. Your body calling me. Gosh, I wanna hold and jam on your bummy, girl, right there. I see me, girl, right there. Your body enticing me. Oh yeah, you're teasing me, but I had to watch you. You're teasing me. I really wanna wine on you, girl. You're teasing me, but I had to watch you, girl. Yeah, you're teasing me, but all I could do now is just act normal, just act normal, just act normal. Yeah, just act normal, just act normal, just act normal. Ooh yeah. Every time she call me phone, it's a bacchanal involving big stone. Yeah, anytime she passing by, make her just watch me like she wants start to cry. Yeah. She always want me, and she ain't bluffing and afraid. She real bad. Yeah, but I real want less, and I go chance it once. She ain't catch me running down woman. I want to take a wine on your bummy, girl, right there. I see me, girl, right there. Your body calling me. Gosh, I wanna hold and jam on your bummy, girl, right there. I see me, girl, right there. Your body enticing me. Oh yeah, you're teasing me, but I had to watch you. You're teasing me. I really wanna wine on you, girl. You're teasing me, but I had to watch you, girl. Yeah, you're teasing me, but all I could do now is just act normal, just act normal, just act normal. Yeah, just act normal, just act normal, just act normal. Ooh yeah.
Leon Caldera said, you know what? No matter what, you know, just act normal.
Girl, right there. I see me,
I
girl,
want to take a little wine off of you, but
calling me. Gosh, I wanna hold and jam on your body,
wifey right, so, you know, she is here over there, so
right there. Your body enticing me. Oh yeah.
just act normal.
You're teasing me, but I had to watch you. You're teasing me, I really wanna wine on you, girl. You're teasing me, but I had to watch you, girl. Yeah, you're teasing me, but all I could do now is just act normal, just act normal, just act
I
normal,
want to say thanks to Pulse Media Group for sponsoring this segment of the broadcast.
normal, just act normal, just act normal.
When being in the moment is priceless, give Pulse Media a call for innovative streaming and recording solutions.
Right there, I see me, girl, right there.
They can help you to stream your event live
Gosh, I wanna hold and jam on
on a secure platform where you can run your own ads and everything.
I really wanna wine on you, girl. You're teasing me, but I had to watch
It could be a party,
teasing me.
graduation, wedding, funeral,
Just act normal, just act normal.
a seminar. You know, everybody gone virtual these days.
Just act normal.
Give them a call, 754-999-6020. Check them out at paulcmg.com and see what they can do for you. If you want to take it a step further than just that and have your own internet TV station, they can hook you up with that too. Want an idea of what that looks like? Go to kevinstew.com. So what does normal thing look like? You know, and at what point do you move from normal to crossing over to hysteria? And tonight, that's one of the questions that we're going to try to see if we can figure out. You know, what is hysteria? And how do you go from just hysteria to groupthink? And you might wonder, okay, wait, are these two connected in any way? How are they connected? What is groupthink? All right. So we're going to be looking at these a little bit tonight and see what we can see from some of this information. Hey Janelle, how you doing, sweetheart? Good evening to you. Inviting you guys to call a friend, tell an enemy, tell a friend of an enemy and an enemy of a friend. Tell them night shift is on. It's a closeout of the night shift week. It's Real Talk Wednesday. And it happens right here, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 10 to midnight. That's a night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. On kevinstew.com, you can't miss it. I have affiliate stations that broadcast, simulcast my broadcast on different days, Mondays and Tuesdays mostly, some others, a few others on Wednesday. But always on kevinstew.com. So those of you locked in on Facebook Live, welcome. Call a friend, tell a friend, share to a friend. Don't be shy. But everybody I invited to use the link, kevinstew.com. It's in the description. So if you forget it, don't worry. Just go to the description, click on that little link, boom, it takes you straight there. All right, you don't have to sign up for anything. You don't have to register. You can jump into the stew pot. It's what others call us a chat room. We fancy over here on kevinstew.com, so we call it the stew pot. It's where we keep things interactive and bubbling. So jump on in and flavor the pot. Yeah, you go to kevinstew.com where where we encourage everyone to have acceptance through enlightenment. So, hysteria. What is hysteria? Hey, Marlon. Yo. Welcome, bro. It's been a minute. How you doing? How's the fam? How's the den? Yo, glad to see you, bro. Hysteria. That's what we're looking at tonight. And why, you might wonder, am I looking at hysteria? Because some craziness happened in the US recently, and it caused me to pause and ask why. We saw it happen last year when the news broke of the coronavirus. We see it happen every time in South Florida when there's an announcement of a hurricane. Or do we? So hysteria is a term used to describe emotional excess. But it was also once a common medical diagnosis. In layman's terms, hysteria is often used to describe emotionally charged behavior that seems excessive and out of control. Sound just about right, right? Right. So, when, according to verywellmind.com, when someone responds in a way that seems disproportionately emotional for the situation, they are often described as hysterical. During the Victorian era, the term was often used to refer to a host of symptoms that were generally observed only in women. Now, that in and of itself make you want to ask a question when So when men behave that way, what is it called? And I am just one to level the playing field at all times, if possible. So it was generally observed in women. I guess because they're the more emotional of the two sexes. While it was once considered a diagnosable condition, hysteria was removed from the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders (DSM) in 1980. Today, those exhibiting hysterical symptoms might be diagnosed with a dissociative disorder or a somatic symptom disorder. Symptoms of hysteria included partial paralysis, hallucinations, and nervousness. And other symptoms often ascribed to hysteria would include shortness of breath, anxiety, fainting, nervousness, insomnia, sexual forwardness. I found that one to be interesting. In the whole list of things, sexual forwardness was pretty interesting. Irritability and agitation. The term hysteria is thought to have originated from the ancient Greek physician Hippocrates, who associated these symptoms with the movement of a woman's uterus throughout different locations in the body. Well, listen, it's ancient science, don't ask me. Now, ancient thinkers believed that a woman's uterus could travel freely throughout different areas of the body, often resulting in different symptoms and ailments based upon its travels. Like I said, I guess they associated it with women because of the various moods and attitudes that women would have. Not saying anything about women like that, but that's what the scientists say. Not saying that I agree. Now, hysteria may not be a valid psychiatric diagnosis today, but it's a good example of how concepts can emerge and change and be replaced as we gain a greater understanding of how human beings think and behave. So, looking at a little bit at the history of hysteria. During the late 1800s, hysteria came to be viewed as a psychological disorder. French neurologist Jean-Martin Charcot utilized hypnosis to treat women suffering from hysteria. The mystery of hysteria played a major role, in the early development of psychoanalysis. The famed Australian psychoanalyst Sigmund Freud had studied with Charcot, and so he had first-hand experience observing patients who had been diagnosed with the ailment, as well as Charcot's treatment methods. It was Freud's work with colleague Joseph Breuer on the case of Anna O, a young woman experiencing the symptoms of hysteria, that helped lead the development of psychoanalytic therapy. Anna had found that simply talking about her problems with her therapist had a major impact on her well-being. Who knew that just talking about something that was bothering you could help? She dubbed this treatment the talking cure, and it is still referred to as talk therapy to this day. Now, Carl Jung, a colleague of Freud's, treated a young woman named Sabina Spielrein. Sorry, I'm messing up her name, who was also thought to suffer from hysteria. Jung and Freud often discussed Spielrein's, her name is really spelled kind of funny, It's Spiel, Spielreins. Well, apostrophe S, but it's Spielrein. So they discussed Spielrein's case, which had an impact on theories they developed. Spielrein herself trained as a psychoanalyst and helped introduce the psychoanalytic approach in Russia before she was murdered by Nazis during World War II. I don't know if she was murdered because she was hysterical or what, but hey, I guess she couldn't talk it out with them. In 1980, the American Psychological Association changed the diagnosis of hysterical neurosis conversion type to that of conversion disorder. Today, psychology recognizes different types of disorders that were historically known as hysteria, including dissociative disorders and somatic symptom and related disorders. Now, your dissociative, and this is just giving you a broad overview thus far. Those of you just joining in, we're looking at hysteria and how we move from hysteria to get to groupthink. Some of you who have studied psychology, whether it be psychology in and of it on a whole, or social psychology, psychotherapy, you may have heard of some of these terms. So, dissociative disorders are psychological disorders that involve an interruption or dissociation in aspects of consciousness during identity and memory. These types of disorders include dissociative fugue, dissociative identity disorder, and dissociative amnesia. Now, you also have your somatic symptom disorders. And in the most recent update of the DSM-5, symptoms that were once labeled under the broad umbrella of hysteria fit under what is now referred to as somatic symptom disorder. And there are several related conditions. There's illness anxiety disorder, which used to be called hypochondriasis. Then you have conversion disorder. Functional neurological symptom disorder is another name for that. And other specified somatic symptoms and other disorders, psychological factors affecting other medical conditions. You have factitious disorder, which I probably need to look at by itself one day. And some unspecified somatic symptom and related disorder. Now, somatic symptom disorder involves having a significant focus on physical symptoms such as a weakness, pain, or shortness of breath. This preoccupation with symptoms result in significant distress and difficulties with normal functioning. The individual may or may not have a medical condition. It is important to know that this does not involve faking an illness. Whether the person is sick or not, they believe they are ill. Now, you kind of wonder how it is that hey Paula, how you doing? Yeah, memories of psychology class, right? Some of these things come back to you. And if you want to chime in and share some of what you remember from your psychology class, or those who have studied sociology and touched on some aspects of this, feel free. 773-789-STEW is the number that you can use to get in touch. You can call, you can text. Of course, the Stew Pot is available. You jump into the Stew Pot on kevinstew.com. But 773-789-7839, you can call, text, WhatsApp. Those of you who are far away and want to get in touch, want to share a word, you can WhatsApp call me. Not a problem. We can take those tonight. But those who are just tuning in, we're looking at hysteria and moving from hysteria to get to groupthink. Now, it is that you keep hearing me use that word groupthink. I'm wondering, what is that groupthink thing? All right, so before we get there, people, individuals, go through this stressful time and act quote unquote abnormally. And they're considered to be hysterical. So they're suffering from hysteria. And more often than not, we would associate that with social behavior. When really and truly it is a psychological behavior that affects an individual and how they perceive as a particular thing. Now, what happens when it is multiple people that is experiencing this hysteria? What then? So that is what is considered to be mass hysteria. And in order to provide a clearer definition of what mass hysteria is, to outline it as an event of potential clinical interest and to distance it from an unduly negative or any unduly negative connotations, researchers have actually advised referring to the phenomenon as collective obsessional behavior. So they've kind of moved away from the mass hysteria caption. Specialists who have taken an interest in this phenomenon say that it is a type of psychogenic illness. That is, a condition that begins in the mind rather than in the body. And psychological symptoms, however, are not often illusionary but very much real. So, the people that, and this is how you can connect the dots now. The people that stormed the Senate Capitol building a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, it was said in some smaller circles that it was as a result of mass hysteria. When people rushed to stores to buy up all the tissue and the bread and the long-serving non-perishable items, it was said to be mass hysteria. Every time a hurricane is coming around, my thought or my question to the professionals in the realm of Paula, behave. Are we? The question is asked if we're talking about the outgoing president. You might want to take the P off of that. The outgoing resident. Maybe it can be associated. The term can be associated with him. It's possible. But when you look at the news of a hurricane coming to South Florida and people start getting into a panic and rushing to the stores and buying up all that they can to get through this period of potential disaster, is that really hysteria or is it a form of PTSD? Because having experienced a hurricane before, and a bad one, you kind of want to make sure that you have everything that you would need in case another bad one rolls around. So the media houses focus on the path and the trajectory, and the meteorologists become the most important people for a period of time, and that bit of information is all that people are glued to in that particular area where the hurricane is potentially heading. Because you never know for sure. So, is it hysteria or is it PTSD and preparation as a result of having gone through such an experience before. Now, because mass hysteria or collective obsessional behavior can take so many different forms, it is very difficult to provide a clear definition for it or to characterize it with confidence. So now you get into that gray area. In a seminal article published on the topic, Professor Simon Wesley from King's College in London, in the UK, notes that mass hysteria has been used to describe such wide variety of crazes, panics, and abnormal group beliefs that defining it is particularly tricky. And again, these examples that I raised, you can call any of these actions that you can say that it falls under mass hysteria. Still, Wesley suggests that in characterizing a phenomenon as an instance of mass hysteria, we should aim to guide ourselves by 5 principles. And I'll give you those principles real quick, and then we take a break and say, see you to Facebook Live. 1. It's an outbreak of abnormal illness behavior that cannot be explained by physical disease. 2. It affects people who would not normally behave in this fashion. Using examples I gave before, I'm still thinking, okay, where do we connect the dot here? 3. It excludes symptoms deliberately provoked in groups gathered for that purpose, such as when someone intentionally gathers a group of people and convinces them that they are collectively experiencing a psychological or physiological symptom. You mean like racism? Okay, let me leave that one alone. I'll just put that there, I just leave it. 4. It excludes collective manifestations used to obtain a state of satisfaction unavailable singly, such as fads, crazes, or riots. Riots. Okay. And 5, the link between the individuals experiencing collective obsessional behavior must not be coincidental, meaning, for instance, that they are all a part of the same close-knit community. You mean like racists? We're gonna... yeah. You see, now you're kind of seeing why I wanted to touch on this and to talk about it a little bit. Because we're possibly in certain parts of the world, we might be living amongst some people that, need to be diagnosed. Professor Wesley also believes that mass hysteria should not be confused with moral panic. This is a sociological concept that refers to the phenomenon of masses of people becoming distressed about a perceived, usually unreal or exaggerated, threat portrayed in catastrophizing terms by the media. So, I guess it's a really fine line between moral panic and mass hysteria, isn't it? And what is it exactly that determines? So, there are different types of mass hysteria. And, I think we'll touch on them just briefly when we come back from the break. At this point, I also want to say, see you, sayonara, deuces, take care to those on Facebook Live. But don't worry, it doesn't have to be the end. You don't need to get hysterical about it. Go to kevinstew.com and let's close out the night and the night shift week right there on kevinstew.com with the remainder of the broadcast. Sound like a plan? Sound like a good plan to me. So, see you all in just a few. Facebook Live, if you don't want to jump on over, Catch you again on Monday for a brief, catch you on Saturday for a segment out of Saturday Stew on Reggae Global Radio. All right? Cool. Catch you later. We'll be right back.
Pulsey Media Group, innovative streaming and recording, has done it again. A new way to get your business in full view of your neighborhood consumer through AdShare TV. It's available in your neighborhood today. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. Become a host today and place a TV monitor in a strategic location so it's easy to see. Get a 1-minute video ad or longer that plays anywhere in our network. Can't be a host? No problem. For a few dollars, we'll run your 30-second video ad. A host can run announcement specials like buy one get one free or discount ads. Let's turn your flyers into a 30-second video with music or a voiceover, or let us create and run your video ad with a spokesperson. Take advantage of our early enrollment discount. Join us today. Your ad will be seen at least 30 times per day in your AdShare TV neighborhood. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. AdShare TV, part of Pulsey Media Group.
It takes an entire village to raise a child. Hello, I'm Paul Campbell, here to talk about Palace. Peace and Love Academic Scholarship. This non-profit group supports students facing serious obstacles from entering or continuing their studies, not because the grades are failing, but due to the lack of financial support.
Over the past 8 years, Palace has awarded 600 scholarships valued at approximately 50.3 million Jamaican dollars, or 415,000 US dollars.
Together, we must build a better future for our children. Please visit www.palace1.org and make your donation to brighten the future of a deserving child. Palace, preserving young minds for posterity.
A social distancing tip.
While the CDC urges you to avoid close contact, like hugging or shaking hands, there are other non-physical ways to say hello. Wave, wink, use sign language, salute, smile, give the peace sign, throw up an air high five, do jazz hands. Remember, stay a minimum of 6 feet or 2 arms length away from others, and stay home if you can. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #AloneTogether. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Matthew 28:19 says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations." With this in mind, and encouragement received during a South Florida media conference, The Church Links was birthed. The Church Links is an interdenominational worship service portal for churches, providing the tools to spread the word through technology in a cost-effective way. The Church Links, www.dahchurchlinx.com. Your links to worship and praise.
It's Christina representing for DJ Kevin. You see me, I say, I don't know the boss. You see me, I say, DJ Kevin's Stew and the night shift radio show. Yo, it at the thing, turn up the thing loud. Wow, DJ Kevin's Stew have the heart of a champion. Never underestimate, just choose him. The silver line behind the dark clouds. DJ Kevin's Stew, believe him, and that's no doubt. Salute the night shift radio show, Christina. It's a heart it up. Loud.
I'm crazy for feeling so lonely.
I'm crazy for feeling so blue. So blue. I knew you love me as long as you wanted. And then someday you'd leave me for somebody new. Why do I let myself worry? Wondering what in the world did I do? Crazy for thinking that my love can hold you. I'm crazy for trying and crazy for crying, and I'm crazy for loving you. Crazy for thinking that my love can hold you. I'm crazy for feeling so blue. I knew you love me as long as you wanted. And then someday you leave me for somebody new. Why do I let myself worry? Wondering what in the world did I do? Crazy for thinking that my love can hold you.
I want to welcome y'all back to the broadcast.
Trying and crazy for crying, and I'm
It's Real Talk Wednesday right here on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. In the background, the sound of Suzanne Sultry, member of SDS, Sensational Dynamic Sound.
you leave me for somebody new.
This is her rendition of Crazy. I want to say thanks to Althea and her Healing Heavenly Hands for sponsoring this segment of the broadcast. Althea is a licensed massage therapist that comes to you with her table, her oils, and 20 years of experience.
In the world did I
She comes to you in operating out of Broad County, North Miami-Dade, and South Palm Beach counties.
crazy
Give her a call, 954-655-9000.
my love?
That's 954-655-9000. Or you can email her at thealater@att.net.
I knew you love me as long as you wanted.
Althea only has one request when she comes to perform her services outside of paying her.
Me for some.
Get off her table and go sleep somewhere else. And I don't really blame her.
Why do I let myself worry? Wondering what in the world did I do?
So what in the world did I do to deserve people like you guys?
I'm crazy for trying and crazy.
Am I crazy for doing this over and over again?
Crazy for loving you.
Nope.
I'm crazy for trying
And I'll keep doing it.
for crying,
The sound of Suzanne Sultry, her rendition of Crazy. So, speaking of crazy, it is believed that, and this is where we start to link the two now. You heard me mention the whole mass hysteria thing, and you heard me mention hysteria, and then go to mass hysteria. But you also heard me, and you can see it in the title, from hysteria to groupthink. So what is this groupthink thing? Now, it is believed that groupthink increases as group cohesiveness increases, which may help explain the psychological phenomenon that is known as mass hysteria. See the connection? It's also known as epidemic hysteria, mass psychogenic illness, and mass sociogenic illness. Mass hysteria is a constellation of symptoms suggestive of organic illness, but without an identifiable cause, that occurs between two or more people who share beliefs related to those symptoms. According to a 1997 review of research by the Johns Hopkins University School of Hygiene and Public Health, it is seen as a social phenomenon involving otherwise healthy people. So it is apparently just a social thing. How does that work? Oh dear. Nobody told me. Okay, we're gonna have to figure that out. So people are just listening in. Alright, so here's what I'll do. I will... Okay, we're just gonna have to work through it. This is crazy. Just heard that the video is not up on the website. It was there earlier. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Okay, so I'll see if I can get anybody to do something about that really quickly. That's crazy. So I guess the gremlins are busy all over again. Up to new tricks. I see, young gremlins. Alright, so I guess I need to go back and get connected on. Alright, so let me give you a little bit more Suzanne Sultry in the meantime, and then get connected over here. Alright, cool.
I'm crazy for feeling so lonely. I'm crazy for feeling so blue. So I knew you love me as long as you want to. And crazy for feeling so blue. I knew you loved me as long as you wanted, and then someday you leave me for somebody new. Why do I let myself worry? Wondering what in the world did I do? Crazy for thinking that my love can hold you. I'm crazy for trying and crazy for crying, and I'm crazy for loving you. I'm crazy for trying and crazy for crying, and I'm crazy for loving you. I'm crazy for trying and crazy for
Okay, so
and I'm crazy.
I bring my craziness back to Facebook Live. Hey! Something going on with the website. The video wasn't going across there. So I'm back to Facebook Live for those of you who are tuned in and not being able to see the video or to see the broadcast on kevinstew.com. I did send a message to the hosts and see what's gonna happen to the hosts of the site, to see what the technical team, to see what they can do in handling that aspect of it. All right, so Hysteria to Groupthink, and for those of you who are listening on TuneIn Radio, thank you for just remaining calm and patient. Thank you very much. So, like I was saying earlier, we looked at hysteria. We touched on mass hysteria. But where does the groupthink part come in? And I was saying, it is believed that groupthink increases group cohesiveness, increases as group cohesiveness increases, which may help to explain the psychological phenomenon of mass hysteria. And that also it is also known as epidemic hysteria, mass psychogenic illness, and mass sociogenic illness. Mass hysteria is a constellation of symptoms suggestive of organic illness, but without identifiable cause. And it is seen as a social phenomenon involving otherwise healthy people, which is kind of interesting. Now, the group members tend to feed off each other's emotional reactions, causing the panic to escalate. The Salem witch trials and the panic over War of the Worlds radio broadcast can be viewed as examples of mass hysteria related to groupthink, as according to verywellmind.com. Now, as widely publicized, one of the widely publicized cases of possible mass hysteria occurred in 2011 in upstate New York, when teenage girls from the same high school began exhibiting an unexplained twitching disorder. Now, groupthink is one of those things that is a slightly different from mass hysteria. With groupthink, it is more often associated with business, politics, and policy making, but it also relates to the psychology of collective phobias and mass hysteria. So, This is how the whole thing connects. This is how they all get pieced together. The term groupthink was coined in the early 1970s by psychologist Irving L. Janis. In 1972, Janis published his book Victims of Groupthink, a psychological study of foreign policy decisions and fiascos. Um, Janis identified 8 symptoms of groupthink, including illusions of invulnerability, unquestioned beliefs, rationalizing, stereotyping, self censorship, mind guards, illusions of anonymity, and direct to pressure. Janis blamed groupthink for several political fiascos, such as Bay of Pigs invasion, the failure to prepare for the attack on Pearl Harbor, the escalation of the Vietnam War, and the Watergate cover-up. Scholars have gone on to blame later events, including the decision to launch the doomed Space Shuttle Challenger, the Iran-Contra affair, and the Enron scandal. They blame all that on groupthink. So, what exactly is groupthink? It is a phenomenon that occurs when a group of well-intentioned people make irrational or non-optimal decisions spurred by the urge to conform or the belief that dissent is impossible. The problematic or premature consensus that is characteristic of groupthink may be fueled by a particular agenda, or it may be due to a group or group members valuing harmony or coherence above critical thought. Now, psychology today says the term groupthink reminds us that the term groupthink was introduced in 1971 by psychologist Irving Janis. Now, since then, Janis and other researchers have found that in a situation that can be characterized as groupthink, individuals tend to refrain from expressing doubts and judgments or disagreeing with the consensus. In the interest of making a decision that furthers their group cause, members may also ignore ethical or moral consequences. While it is often invoked at the level of geopolitics or within business organizations, groupthink can also refer to more subtle processes of social or ideological conformity, such as participating in bullying or rationalizing a poor decision being made by one's friends. And this more resembles what we saw happening with that group that stormed the Capitol. See the connection? So you might ask, all right, so this is happening. What then causes this to happen? What is it that causes groupthink? Groups that prioritize their group identity and behave coldly towards outsiders may be more likely to fall victim to groupthink. Organizations in which dissent is discouraged or openly punished are similarly likely to engage in groupthink when making decisions. High stress is another root cause, as is time pressure that demands a fast decision. So typically, because time is sensitive and you need to come to a consensus quickly, the first person that says something, everybody goes with it. That's typically how the groupthink works. The groupthink thing works. Even in minor cases, groupthink triggers decisions that are not ideal or that can ignore critical information. In highly consequential domains, like politics or the military, groupthink can have much worse consequences, leading groups to ignore ethics or morals, prioritize one specific goal while ignoring countless collateral consequences, or at worst, instigate death and destruction. And we've seen that time and time again, and it was referenced. To the Iran case, the not Iran. Oh geez, I just referenced them, and here it's gone out of my mind already. Bay of Pigs, Vietnam War, the reaction to War of the Worlds radio broadcast, all these things, influenced by groupthink. Yeah. So this is how it can instigate death and destruction. But is it only negative things that happen with groupthink? Can something positive come out of it? By definition, groupthink results in a decision that is irrational or dangerous. However, it is possible for teams to make decisions harmoniously and with little disagreement, and do so in ways that are not necessarily indicative of groupthink. While well-functioning teams can, and probably should, have some conflict, debate is antithetical to groupthink. Meaning, typically in areas where you find groupthink being dominant, you don't find a lot of opposition. So the debating on a topic that doesn't really happen. It's usually, let's call it yes man syndrome. So the one person says, okay, so tomorrow what we're gonna do is we're gonna break down the fence that leads to the neighbor's house. And everybody goes, okay, cool, yay, let's do it. Not realizing that, there's a fence up for a reason. The neighbor has dogs, and the dogs don't like people. So what happens? They go break down the fence, and everybody end up in hospital nursing bite wounds. Whose fault? Right. So this is how groupthink can just really make everything just bad. So the question then becomes, would groupthink and conformity be the same thing? Well, they're related. As per psychology today, they're related, but actually quite distinct concepts. Groupthink specifically refers to a process of decision making. It can be motivated by a desire to conform, but is not always. Conformity, on the other hand, pertains to individuals who, intentionally or not, shift their behaviors, their appearances, or their beliefs to sync up to those of the group. So, one is the process of decision making, and the other is just pretty much going along with whatever the group is doing. That belief. So, you can look at religion as one that includes conformity. Not necessarily being groupthink. No, when you want to think call it, when you want to refer to groupthink, when it would referring to religious groups. Now you're talking about the cults. The Waco, Texas, the Guyana, and the Kool-Aid. This is what you're talking about when you get into the groupthink kind of a thing. Conformity, usually along the lines of Christian, Catholic, Jew. Well, can't even really say Jewish, but when it comes to religious groups, that in my mind more goes towards, or let's use something less controversial. Let's go to sports teams. People just conform to the working with that, supporting that particular sports team. That's pretty simple and less controversial. I don't want to get too heavy tonight, especially since crazy things are happening with kevinstew.com, the video side of it anyway. But there's always TuneIn, which I will suggest that you guys who are tuned in to Facebook Live, you jump onto the TuneIn, the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew. And in fact, you can go to the Kevin Stew website, click on that TuneIn play button, and listen to the broadcast there also, which is what which I'll invite you guys to do when I get into musical therapy, because then I'll jump off Facebook Live again. So, how do you recognize and avoid groupthink? Now, it is important, it is useful to identify the situations in which it is most likely to occur. Psychology Today says when groups feel threatened, either physically or through threats to their identity, this may develop a strong us versus them mentality. This can prompt members to accept grouped perspectives, even when those perspectives don't necessarily align with their personal views. They're going to run with them anyway. Groupthink may also occur in situations in which decision making is rushed, in some cases with destructive outcomes. To minimize the risk, it is critical to allow enough time for issues to be fully discussed and for as many group members as possible to share their thoughts. When dissent is encouraged, groupthink is less likely to occur. Learning about common cognitive biases as well as how to identify them may also reduce the likelihood of groupthink. So when you're talking about some of the symptoms of groupthink, you're looking at self-censoring, especially if fear of being shunned or derided for speaking their mind comes into play. This is one potential sign that the group may engage in groupthink. If those who do dissent are presumed to, or pressured to recant or conform to the majority view, that is a sign of groupthink. Groups that actively deride outsiders may be more likely to fall prey to groupthink. Since groupthink often occurs because group members fear disagreeing with their leader, it can be beneficial for the leader to temporarily step back and allow members to debate the issue themselves. One member of the team can be appointed as a devil's advocate, so to speak, who will argue against the consensus to highlight potential flaws. This now is how you address certain issues possibly before the group falls prey to these issues. Now, you want a strong group? This is what you want to happen. Because this is how you encourage growth. You're looking at possible scenarios that one individual may not think of. When you going to subscribe to this whole groupthink thing, everybody ends up being sheeple. And whatever the one at the front does, everybody do it too. So if they run and jump off the cliff, not realizing that there's no water at the bottom, but it's just a precipice that goes to rocks and trees, then everybody will meet their demise. When everybody drink the Kool-Aid, everybody going to meet their demise. Why then is it good to allow dissent? Well, that would be because it is linked to more creative thinking and ultimately greater innovation within organizations. Asking one person to deliberately play devil's advocate and argue with the solution proposed by the majority is one strategy that has been shown to be effective against groupthink. Now, you don't necessarily have to ask somebody to be devil's advocate, but you can just generally try to address other issues versus just go along with the status quo, go right along with the tide, and whatever the boss say, everybody say, oh, yeah, brilliant idea, let's go with it. And then it all fails, and the boss has nobody to turn to say, but why didn't you advise otherwise? Did you know? How could you? Yeah. Who then is there to blame? Maybe someone to blame would be not the right words to use. But everybody ends up being a failure with that being the case. And ideas for growth and opportunities for growth tend to be left along the way. Or you end up having mass arrests, as we recently saw or have been seeing with some of these people that raided the Capitol building, that stormed the Capitol building, ended up being, the ones that were identified ended up being on the no-fly list. So they're flying back to their respective states, homes, and end up getting arrested. Now, the ones that drove, I guess they were a little bit smarter. But the ones that were flying ended up in problems. They were arrested right then and there at the airport. I saw this one video where this woman said, she has 3 children, and the officer says, yeah, wait, don't worry about that. We have contingencies for that. How many children you said you had with you again? She goes, 4. I'm like, didn't this woman just say 3? And the officer was really cool about it, and he's like, okay, we'll take care of that. That's right. But all these people, for some reason, thought it was cool. I don't know whose idea they were following. I'll not get into that. But they thought it was a great idea to go with whoever plan it was to storm the Capitol building and to take names and kick behind. Well, nobody stopped to think, okay, so what happens if we don't get through with this mini coup, I guess? What happens if it fails? What then? And apparently, they didn't think that far ahead. Why not? I don't know. But that's what happened. So, if there was some diversity in that group, you think they would have done it at all? Diversity, both demographic and diversity of thought, has been shown to reduce the possibility of groupthink. Group members, different backgrounds, beliefs, personality traits, these can all spawn unique ideas that can inspire innovation. It's critical, though, that all group members, regardless of their position or demographics, be allowed to contribute to the group decision making. And again, this is how you encourage growth. Those of you who want to share of an experience relating to hysteria or groupthink, mass hysteria, feel free. Give a call, 773-789-STEW, 773-789-7839. You can call, you can text. Now, one thing I want to encourage people to do is to stop for a moment and examine the groups that they're involved in. Are we, in the ones that of us that are involved in these groups, are we just there because it's easy, we don't have to make decisions for ourselves, nobody is asking us to think, we just go along with whatever? Or are we a part of these groups to make a difference? If you're a part of these groups to make a difference, you need to start making a difference by doing things that encourage thought, doing things that causes people to pause and looking at different scenarios. Because without that, everybody going the same way, following the same thought pattern, ending up in the same problem, not looking at possibilities of anything else. So everybody have a tunnel vision. There's always more than one way to skin a cat, but if everybody looking at one way, the cat going to get away. You're going to lose out on the objective. So that's where I'll wrap it up for Real Talk for this week. We're gonna have a little bit of an extended musical therapy and say goodbye for the second Facebook Live broadcast. Thank you all for hanging out with me this week. I'll make sure to well, let me not say I'll make sure, but I'm definitely going to be talking with the technical team to see what we can figure out with the video, what is going on with that. It's crazy. On my side, everything is fine. On the website, it is not. So we'll see what's going on there and how we can fix it. But in the meantime, in between time, the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on TuneIn. That is available. Don't be shy. You can go there. You can still comment in the stew pot and share your views there so that we can talk, eh? All right. So let me take a quick little break and then we can... Oh, let me put this up here. Yeah, we'll take a quick little break and then it's musical therapy. All right. So, I want to take care until later on.
Imagine having our own Caribbean Center.
Imagine a museum highlighting our history and the contributions of Caribbean people to the world.
Imagine being able to visit and learn about the islands we call home.
In a place where our kids can see and feel their cultural heritage. You can make this vision come to life.
Help us create this first-of-its-kind space
that all Caribbean people can be proud of. Your contribution to Island Space Caribbean Museum will help this dream come true.
Visit islandspacefl.org/GoFundMe.
Visit islandspacefl.org/GoFundMe.
Visit islandspacefl.org/GoFundMe and donate today.
When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.
Come on, smile. Oh, honey, he's still not smiling.
Maybe he's not a smiler.
Yeah, maybe he's just not a happy baby.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Or maybe he's teething.
Maybe it's just a phase.
Maybe he has autism, and we can definitely do something to help.
Maybe is all you need to find out more about autism. No big, joyful smiles by 6 months is one early sign. Learn the others at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Greetings and salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.
Hey yo, this is Caraman to let you know that right about now you are logged on to DJ Kevin Stew on the Night Shift. Don't move.
Here we go again. 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 Arguments in the morning. You're not even the morning. Like you have a dream or something. Hold on, no darling. Where you want to carry feelings. Talk about say we no in no dealings. See you have a with things. Tell me who you want play with. Here we go again. 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 I know it's in the evening. You never knew we did vex this morning. Fire and ice, yet still it feels right. I said, I know I made the right choice. My mama said, call her your wife. So I'm gonna do it tonight. We're gonna spend the rest of our lives together. Here we go again. 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 Here we go again.
The sound of Jadan, the newest release from him. It's called Here We Go, featuring Drew Vice. I want to say blessed earth dates to Francine and the management team of Jadan. Big ups. The video for this track was released today. Thank you also to Reggae Global Entertainment for sponsoring this segment of the broadcast. Reggae Global Entertainment will handle your bookings, take care of your tour management, they handle your copyrights, your publishing, your business registration, music production, marketing and promotion, and so much more.
You can do, I wash and I sing. Me
Give them a call 954-998-8034 or check them out online reggaeglobalentertainment.com.
Same time me hear my phone start ring and I say, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go.
An extended musical therapy.
Here we go again, here we go again.
Here we go.
Here we go again, here we go, here we go again, here we go, here we go again, here we go again.
Speaking of new music, this is new music from Hezron called Feels Like Heaven.
There's a place I heard of that's a perfect reflection. Never been there before, but it sure fits your description. I heard it's a place called heaven, filled with joy and peace and love. Oh, it reminds me of, baby, when you're wrapped up in my arms. And it feels like heaven, heaven in my arms. Baby, yes, it feels like heaven, yeah, heaven in my arms. When I'm holding you, heaven, heaven in my arms. Oh, I feel so lucky. I'm holding heaven in my arms. I'm holding heaven in my streets of gold with transparent glass. That's how you're excellent way. You're a soul in the cleanest heart. Feels like heaven in my arms. Baby, feels like heaven in my arms. When I'm holding you, heaven in my arms. I feel so lucky. I'm holding heaven in my arms. No, baby, some would say that I over-exaggerate, yeah. But even the angels go signs to what I'm saying. Oh, your love is immeasurable, and I'm gonna shout it out, yeah. So obviously, hear me, then hear me and you together forever, baby. Feels like heaven. Feels like heaven in my arms. Baby, feel like heaven in my arms.
I walked out this morning, said it was over. I just can't stand the pain no more. I wanna be a lover.
This is the sound of Eva G. It's called Pretty Lady.
Was just in vain.
As we close out the night shift week,
Pretty lady, I want you in my life.
this is musical therapy.
Forget the fight. By your side I wanna be. From now until eternity. Baby girl, I think we should try and try to give this our love a chance right now. If you say no, then this is goodbye, bye bye. time we kissed was in September. Huh. Now that it's over, I wish you well. What we shared, I'll always remember. Alright, how I go on, only time will tell. So pretty lady, I want you in my life. Won't you please forget the strife? By your side, I really wanna be. From now until eternity. Sugar lips, your kiss is sweet all the time. Sugar lips, once it tastes like a wine.
The sound of Ambelique.
Sugar lips, girl, I want you to be mine.
It's called Sugar Lips.
Sugar lips, sugar baby, sugar. Yeah. The first time we met, girl, it felt like magic. Now thinking of you gives me a rush every minute. Can't wait to hold you, baby, in my arms. Feel your sweet caress, your tender charm. Now my sweet dreams are reality. You fill my cup when it was empty, baby. Sugar lips, your kiss is sweet all the time. Sugar lips, once it tastes like a wine. Sugar lips, girl, I want you to be mine. My sugar lips, sugar baby, sugar. Yeah. If I should lose you now, girl, it could be tragic. Cause your laughter and your smile, I couldn't do without it. Cause you're the angel I was meant to love, the one that I've been dreaming of. Now my sweet dreams turn reality. You fill my cup when it was empty, baby. Sugar lips, your kiss is sweet all the time. Sugar lips, once it tastes like a wine. Sugar lips.
I want to thank my segment sponsor for this last segment of the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Steele. This musical therapy segment. GMAT Music Solutions, thank you very much. GMAT Music Solutions will bring your events to life, providing sound, light, and stage production services, musical equipment, PA systems, audio engineers, DJs, bands, musicians, singers, and so much more. Give them a call, 754-307 GMAC. That's 754-307-4622. You can check them out online at gmatmusicsolutions.com, where you can do your online shopping also.
Now thinking of you gives me a rush every minute.
Thank you, GMAT Music Solutions.
Can't wait to hold you, baby, in my arms. Feel your sweet caress, your tender charm. Now my sweet dreams are reality. You fill my cup when it was empty, baby. Sugar lips,
This is Groove Galore working out with Belinda Brady. Track is called Show Me.
Dancing in a crowded room. Last summer it was late in June. Let me step back, boy. Now you can make your move. When I look into your eyes, sweet daydream mesmerized, not too hard to reach intertwined. But when I step into your soul, I get nervous, I can lie. Show me what you gonna do when you hold me. temptation magnet draws me closer to you. I wanna be raptured in your sexy groove. Trouble's gonna run, they coming my way. Captivated by sweet words you say. Throw caution to the wind. Let us fly away. When I look into your eyes, sweet danger mesmerized, now two hearts are intertwined. But when I step into your soul, I get nervous, I can't lie. Show me what you gonna do when you hold me. What you gonna say when you touch me. Now that you know I set me ready for all your loving work. Show me what you gonna do when you hold me. What you gonna say when you touch me. Now that you know I set me ready for all your loving work. I get nervous, I get temper. My God, this a sound in a temper. Whoa, fever. My God, this a sound in a fever. Whoa, show me what you gonna do when you hold me. What you gonna say when you touch me. Now that you know I set me ready for all your love. I gave him back the keys to his front door. Cause it seems he didn't care about me anymore. I gave him all the love I had and he spilled it, yeah. So I packed my things into a Gucci bag and started to quit.
Those are vibes.
Lord knows that I don't wanna be lonely tonight.
Bouncing out through this musical therapy. This is Tenille.
I don't wanna be lonely tonight.
The track is called Front Door.
Let me know that I don't wanna be lonely tonight. Cause I would rather to be lonely than to live a dirty life. All of those things that we've been through used to make me happy, now make me blue. I didn't believe the things that I've heard, no. But now I've seen it with my own eyes. I know actions speak louder than words. But Lord knows that I don't wanna be lonely tonight. I don't wanna be lonely that
I want to say thank you to the technical team.
be lonely tonight.
Already brought the site back to speed.
Don't wanna be lonely tonight.
The video is live.
But I would rather to be lonely than to live a dirty life. Dirty life. Take your keys and go on, me no want them no more. All them dirty lies, you can keep them for sure. Me a one girl you can't play with. Me rather sleep by myself than to stay with. Bam, bam. What's a bam, bam? What's a bam, bam? What's a bam, bam? You see me? I don't wanna be lonely tonight.
I want to take a moment, a somber moment, and say rest in peace to Miss Yvonne Sterling. I only learned of Yvonne Sterling recently when Richie Stevens and Little Lenny and some other artists had come to her aid. She had she was in a really trying situation with damage to her home. And she's a veteran artist out of Jamaica, and they managed to pull some resources together and got funding from the industry, the reggae fraternity and well-wishers, and they pulled together to help Yvonne Sterling. Miss Sterling had a stroke this week and passed away. And I want to say condolences to her family and friends, to Richie Stevens, Little Lenny. They had so much hopes and plans for her to regain her footing and get back in the industry and get back into the studio. But they managed to spend some time together and record this track. It's called Thank You, Lord. And as we go through the last 20 minutes of this musical therapy, we kick off this segment, this section. We just have to say thank you, Lord, for getting us thus far.
Music like this and music like that.
Yvonne Sterling, Richie Stevens, Little Lenny.
Giving praises to the Lord. Sing it out, those mamas Sterling. Thank you, Lord, for what you've done for me. You touch my life with your blessing. Thank you, Lord, for what you're doing now, right now. Thank you, Lord, for every little thing. 'Cause right now I'm not stressing. Thank you, Lord, for another chance to sing. I'm gonna sing along, sing along. I was in a bad situation. I live each day in serious desperation. I tell you, thought my life was over, but you rescued me. With all my heart, I'm giving you the glory. Thank you, Lord, for what you've done for me. You touch my life with your blessing. Thank you, Lord, for what you're doing now, right now. Thank you, Lord, for every little thing. 'Cause right now I'm not stressing. Thank you, Lord, for another chance to sing. Make you tell anything on this. Them say that one of the door, dash it away. Only for people gone doing all in there. You have your life and ambition, still up on a mission, and a one more chance you have to go there. If each one help, one better must come. So when you get your blessing, God and go share some. And when you see another man fall when you run, lift him up, no bother keep him down. Mama Sterling sing. Thank you, Lord, for what you've done for me. You touch my life with your blessing. Thank you, Lord, for what you're doing now, right now. Thank you, Lord, for every little thing. 'Cause right now I'm not stressing. Thank you, Lord, for another chance to sing.
So let me tell you something. Some people need a little food up on the table. I don't know where to find them. And you should give a little blessing if you're able. With humbleness behind it. No greater deed, no greater love. No better way to show it. There is no feeling like the way I feel when I know I'm helping.
Thank you, Lord, for what you've done for me. Mama Sterling sing. Thank you, Lord, for what you're doing now. Mama Sterling sing. Thank you, Lord, for every little thing. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Lord, for another chance to sing. I'm gonna sing along, sing along. Thank you, Lord, for what you've done for me. Thank you, Lord, for what you're doing now, right now. Thank you, Lord.
Went back home through my neighborhood in a jail. And on my old block is where I found a couple items on a wall. They shout,
This is Annette Brissett.
oh come ya natty dread, they stated.
The track is called Lift Up Your Head.
Some was stretching,
It's actually
some
Lift Our Head.
lovely.
From the album Lift Up Your Head.
Tempo. Babylon always trying to keep us under. So I try to give them strength. I try to give them strength when I say, don't you worry about a thing. Just lift our head and rise against the pressure. Can't you see what a going out there? Disaster after disaster. What more can I say? What more can I do? I wonder who the hell they think they are fooling. Where were they long time ago when prophecy was revealing? High cost of living, low minimum wages. Right now, my children are suffer. Lift our head up and rise against the pressure. Just hold your head up high. Hold your head up high. And all you see are one out there. Listen, is disaster after disaster. Ooh, cha-cha. My song, my words, my music, this is my song. Lift your head up and rise against the pressure. Just hold your head up high to the sky. I try to give them strength. This is my song to you and you. The pressure, just hold on to the sky. Hold your head up high. All you see are one all day, just disaster. One disaster after another.
Christine, Alicia. The track is called Black Diamond.
So you feeling a little pressure? Heat at wada. What you mean this is a depression? Turn around and it's just compression. Path of destiny with a volcanic eruption. Everything in life has a purpose. Black diamond in the round. Yes, it's time, but this pressure is what you need right now. Embrace the path and you will last. Black diamond, don't you see? When you rise, you will be that diamond everyone wants to see. See the vision ahead, write it plain and clear. Plant a seed, then trust it to spread. Guard your heart and keep it clean. Forgive, release the pain. Everything in life has a purpose. Yeah. Black diamond in the round. Yes, it's time, but this pressure is what you need right now. Embrace the path and you will last. Black diamond, don't you see? When you rise, you will be the diamond everyone wants to see.
10 minutes to go. 10 minutes before I shut this down for the remainder of the week.
Before I could run, I found you already settled down in the back of my mind.
This is where musical therapy is taking us tonight.
This is just a custom.
Some tracks we haven't heard in a while.
The moon
This is Wild Tree.
that will leave you running.
It's called If I Didn't Know Any Better. Their rendition.
Your heart is falling. If I didn't know any better, I'd be falling deeper and deeper. It's true. I hear you calling. If I didn't know any better, and I'd be in love with you. Didn't want to look in the eyes of the one that I would be drawn to. I'm a moth lost in the fire. I know this is just a beautiful illusion, a case of the confusion between love and desire. Your heart is falling. If I didn't know any better, I'd be falling deeper and deeper. It's true. I hear you calling. If I didn't know any better, and I'd be in love when you burn down and settle down, and you forget I ever came around.
Tribute to the grandparents, you know? Grand, Pop, Baba, Sicey.
You know, I always listen to this song just for that part. No, I'm playing. I just love hearing it though. And Annette Bressett does her little cameo.
Tribute to the grandparents, you know? Grand, Pop, Baba, Sicey. Love one, you know?
I can see it real clear right now. I'd be running up the street with my shirt wide open, not knowing if
this is G. Cole.
I could put that just spot at the shop, so I really was hoping.
You can catch G. Cole live on Reggae Global Radio and Homegrown with G. Cole.
That was the little boy in me. I wasn't thinking.
Just follow him on social media.
Never know.
Homegrown with G. Cole.
That one day you'd be gone. You'd be gone. Guess I thought that you'd live for.
Never thought that you would leave me.
Now who's gonna keep me strong? Keep me strong.
This track is called Till This Day.
From heart.
The tribute.
Sometimes my soul just walks away, and it leaves me so empty.
Tribute to grandmothers.
Happening.
Got to love it. I want to thank you each and everyone for tuning in this week. Thank you for your support.
Me till this day.
Like I said, Saturday, I'll be on Reggae Global Radio doing the Saturday Stew.
Granny, won't you say a little?
8 p.m. till 10 p.m. Eastern Time. ReggaeGlobalRadio.com.
Smiling down on me, and you smiling, but
And then I'll be back here on Monday. Community and Finance.
with me. You told me separate a wiser from older. Miss Icy, won't you save a hug from me?
Remember to look out for members of your community.
Use his shoulder.
And remember that your community is not just a development that you live in, but it spreads far and wide. Remember to look out for someone today, because you never know who's going to look out for you tomorrow. Those people that you pass on the bus, on the plane, on the boat, on the train, whether you walk, ride, or drive, these people are your neighbors.
When the air and the wind as it blows, and I know that you're near me. Never have to journey through life on my own, 'cause you are right there beside me.
Jah called you home, gave you wings, sent you back, and told you to God me. So you're not really go, really go.
My name is DJ Kevin Stew. This is how I like to do it to you, for you, and with you. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Night shift to DJ Kevin Stew. 10 till midnight Eastern.
In shelters made from stone. Sometimes my soul just walks away, and it leaves me so empty. It's been happening since that day that you left me. It still kills me till this day. I wasn't there to help you on your way. Granny, won't you say a little prayer for me, like you used to do when I was younger? Papa, know you're smiling down on me. Now you're smiling, but always give me over. Papa, know your words are still with me. You told me separate her wiser from older. Miss Icy, won't you save a hug from me? 'Cause right now I could really use a shoulder.
Give me just a little smile. Just smile. That's all I ask of you. Oh yeah.
As we smile on out of here.
Give me just a little smile. Just smile. We got a message for you.
This is Ed Robinson, Sunshine Reggae.
Smile, that smile. You do it every time. You let the good vibes flow. You let the good vibes grow. Yeah, it's the sunshine, sunshine reggae. Oh yeah, yeah. Don't you hurry, don't you worry. No, take it easy. Sunshine reggae. Let the good vibe just grow a little stronger. People smile at you wherever you go. When sweet reggae music is playing on your radio. Give me just a little smile. That's all I ask of you.
Until the next time we meet, y'all be good. If you can't be good at it.
Give me just a little smile. Bring it on.
Y'all take care. Good morning, good afternoon, good day to you. From right here in South Florida. Good night.
Sunshine reggae, sweet like the sunshine. Don't you hurry, no, don't you worry, no. Take it easy. Sunshine reggae. Let the good vibes just grow a little stronger. Come here and give me just a little smile. Just a smile. That's all I ask of you. Yeah, oh yeah. Give me, show me. Give me just a little smile. Show me that smile. We got a message for you. Oh yeah. It's the sunshine reggae. Oh yeah, yeah. Don't you hurry, don't you worry. Take it easy. Sunshine reggae. Let the good vibe just grow a little stronger. It's the sunshine reggae. Hear that reggae music. Don't you hurry, don't you worry. No, take it easy. Sunshine reggae. Reggae music. Let the good vibe just grow a little stronger.
Greetings and salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.